Rob Fishman is the co-founder of Brat, a digital network that features exclusive content all dedicated to Gen Z. Brat combines scripted stories with young social media influencers to create the perfect TV landscape for teens. Everyone, please give a warm Bill Brunch welcome to Rob Fishman. Hey, thanks for coming on.
Hi, nice to meet you, Chantal. Hey, thanks for being here, Rob.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for joining us. Brat seems so awesome and cool reading about it. I know I'm a little above the age demographic and not in the gender demographic either, but for those who don't know what Brat is, can you tell us about it?
For sure, yeah. So Brat is a nod to the John Hughes Brat Pack, which are probably movies you guys grew up watching. And, you know, we saw a few years ago kind of an opening in the coming of age space on television as many young viewers have stopped watching traditional linear TV and started tuning in to, I mean, Netflix, of course, but also Snap and Instagram, where there isn't as much professionalized narrative content. And so our thought was, how do we build sort of a TV network, something akin to what the WB was 20 years ago, where they can watch shows that become real touchstones that everyone kind of watches at the same time, and it's less about, you know, scattered viewing and memes and snaps and vlogs.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, there's clearly a plethora of adult content out there right now, but it seems like you really tapped into something, because I read something that, like, an average video viewer is watched like for 10 minutes, which is a lot for a teenage kind of a focus programming site.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a myth that everyone has ADD who's young.
Right.
But actually, as it turns out, so we started making like 4 to 5 minute episodes because we thought, oh, no one will tune in for a very long time. And then very quickly, people started ranting at us, make the episodes longer. There were people, you know, thousands of people writing on Instagram and YouTube. And so we started getting to 10 minutes and then to 15, finally to 20 sometimes. And we even did an 1 and 10 minute long Chicken Girls movie.
Wow.
And that has almost 20 million views now on YouTube. But what's really interesting is the average view time is over 20 minutes, close to 30.
Wow.
So on mobile. So, you know, if you make something that's long and compelling, people will watch. I think it's a little bit of a false premise that everyone is, you know, has no attention span.
Well, and the strategy of combining, you know, scripted content aimed for Gen Z with social media influence, I think wouldn't always work, but it has worked for you guys. Can you tell us like what that magic sauce was to get it to work?
Yeah, you know, there's certainly a notion that they're like social media influencers and then actors, and that these two groups are totally separate. But what we found is that's actually not the case with this new generation. You know, virtually everyone who's popular for some reason has a big following. So, you know, one of our first breakout stars was Annie LeBlanc, who's now 14, whose parents have been hosting a YouTube page for you know, almost a decade. But then we followed quickly with someone like Mackenzie Ziegler, who grew up on Dance Moms, was just on Dancing with the Stars Jr.
She's great.
Then, you know, more recently cast Anna Cathcart, who's plays the little sister into All the Boys I've Loved Before on Netflix, and had been on Disney. So, you know, these are young women who some have had more traditional backgrounds, some have more digital backgrounds, and across the board have, you know, big audiences who tune into them directly. And in every case, we bring them into the Brat universe, and they play a new character.
And you have 3 million subscribers on YouTube, right? And like 1.4 million Instagram followers, right? That's incredible. What's it like to have that, you know, positive reception?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, actually, what's interesting about YouTube is, you know, most months now we're seeing 6, 7, 8 million unique viewers tuning in. Not all of them subscribe because YouTube's so good at just recommending our episodes every day. So it's actually a much bigger audience, you know, close to the size of a traditional TV network. And, you know, I think we're one of the few companies out there that's investing in television quality content for free online that's not locked behind your parents' Netflix subscription or on some other premium service that you don't necessarily want to pay for. And so I think that we've been able to see success because we're making, you know, things that people really want to watch in the places that they are already watching.
Yeah, when I checked out the Brat channel, there were so many different shows to watch that I was like, I don't know which one to go to first. So could you tell us about some of your different shows, and how do you guys decide, like, we know Gen Z is going to be into this, we know Chicken Girls is going to sell?
We definitely did not know that originally. We got kind of lucky. That was our first, you know, breakout hit, and overnight our channels really exploded because of Chicken Girls, and since then we've programmed a bunch more shows. But, you know, largely speaking, these all exist in the same county, which is fun, so it's a little bit like the Marvel universe, except no one has superpowers exactly. And so the shows, well, no, we have some stuff coming, which I'll tell you about. But the shows all overlap, and they're all kind of in that small town America feel to make I think our viewers feel at home. So Chicken Girls was our first show, and that's kind of like our quintessential teen high school experience show. And it started out about the dance team, and now it's just kind of about whatever is going on in high school. This season, Rhyme, who Annie LeBlanc plays, is writing for the newspaper and really finding her voice. Total Eclipse is also a high school show, but there's a fun kind of twist to that, which is the girls in the show, when they're feeling emotional or triggered, they go into a little bit of a fantasy world. So Mackenzie's character, Cassie, has moon fantasies because she's always been fascinated by the sky. Lauren Orlando, who plays Kate, fancies herself a bit of a witch, and so she experiments with crystals. And then this season, Nadia Turner, who plays Jenna, fantasizes that she's a superhero and that she can fix all the problems. And so the girls are all dressed as their own little heroes this season. So
I love that.
Yeah, on and on. And we have a new vampire show that's coming up. We have a boarding school show that's a little bit like a Gossip Girl style show. So we really try to play with different shows within the demographic in the same way when you used to tune into the WB, you'd have Dawson's Creek and Roswell and
Gilmore
Buffy the
Girls.
Vampire Slayer, Gilmore, so give a panoply of different shows.
I'm curious, why did you decide to name it Brat?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, the John Hughes Brat Pack is
Brat Pack.
Yeah. And I think even more than that, the Brat Pack was originally a riff on the Rat Pack of Frank Sinatra, and the stars in those Brat Pack movies in the '80s, like the Rob Lowe's and Molly Ringwald's, had like a real sensibility that was a little more offbeat and eccentric. It wasn't like the prom king and the the cheerleader. They were kind of like a little bit, a little weird. And when I spend time with this generation of of stars who have big audiences, I'm always intrigued by how like interesting and different they are. They're not. I mean, sure, a lot of them look like Justin Bieber, and you're like, oh, this guy's cool. But by and large, I think what's being celebrated and followed now in Gen Z culture is not kind of the stuff you used to see in magazine ads. These are people with like real sensibilities, and that kind of Brat Pack sensibility I think has carried through to this generation. And we just thought it was like a fun, snappy name. Like speaking of snappy, like Snapchat became Snap, and so everything's getting shorter.
I love it. It's very catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like we live in a world where content is always shifting and evolving and going from networking cable to digital. For me, like seeing that evolution, I'm interested in knowing, where do you see content and entertainment industry going in the next few years?
It's a really great question, especially with all the streaming announcements these past few months. Disney Plus, and we've seen NBC is going to start their streaming network, and Warner's, and suddenly it's I don't know if it looks old or new with all these kind of cable companies having different packages. We're on YouTube and Amazon and Instagram, but our episodes are primarily on YouTube for a very simple reason, which is it's where our demographic tunes in. And so we're a little bit agnostic to, if that changes in a few years, like maybe we would be there. But I do think that there's a big misalignment right now in terms of where people are actually consuming longer form shows and where that's being offered. And the decision makers on high need to kind of get their ducks in a row and realign those channels so that young people can easily tune in and have that experience we had when we used to watch Saved by the Bell or The Wonder Years.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are already doing a great job of that. So what's next for Brat? And is there anything you can tease and give us a preview into?
For sure, yeah. So we're launching a new vampire show, which is fun for
Oh.
us. It's called Red Ruby. It features,
I like that name.
Me too.
it stars Daniela Perkins, who's on a Nickelodeon show, and Michael Campion, who's on Fuller House, and a large cast of other really interesting people. And that comes, I think, in a few weeks. It's a kind of spooky concept. I can give you a little bit of the background if you're interested.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
So in our show, so all of our shows do take place in the same kind of town. This one's in Millwood. What we find out is in the 90s, a bunch of teens got trapped underground, sort of, they're exploring the caves and the ground closed in. And now, flash forward to today, there's someone's doing some fracking in the town. It's sort of an environmental thing.
Wow.
And the ground shifts. Yeah. So suddenly a number of teenage vampires, because we find out that they were turned into they've been alive all these years, reemerges into the modern day, and these kind of 90s teen vampires are suddenly in our town, and they're hungry.
Already.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for joining us. This
Thank you
sounds
for
so
having me.
incredible.